Good win for Leicester, who've won 6 out of 7 away and only 3 out of 7 at home. If they could sort out their home form, they would be challenging Liverpool because they played really well again on the road, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Some really good individual performances from Leicester. Players taking responsibility. I thought Albrighton was absolutely outstanding. Vardy's movement. Maddison has a confidence which may come across as arrogance if you don't know football, but we want to see that.
Yeah.
You know, his runs and his celebrations.
He's got a swagger, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think Brendan Rodgers likes that. He'll taper it if it goes too far, but he wants to see his players play with that confidence. And Leicester at the moment are looking very good. And they're the kind of wins I can see them getting time after time after time.
A couple of Tottenham friends said to me in the week that Serge Aurier was a transformed player, that he'd been really disciplined, that Mourinho had got into his head about positional responsibility and around the pitch, and then he does that on the stroke of half-time.
He was very close midweek against Liverpool to being man of the match. Yeah. Never give Mane a kick. And Mane kept going after him and after him and after him, and Aurier was brilliant. And you thought he got rid of those silly mistakes. We talk about game management. You don't give a penalty away like this 20 seconds before half-time. I can't even tell you what he's thinking. Well, he's not thinking, because you don't commit a foul. Even if it's a 50-50 challenge, you don't commit this foul. It's a barge in the back on Fofana. It's inside the 18-yard box. It's unnecessary. He can't win the header. Fofana's in front of him. So the only way you're going to get any piece of the ball is by going through him. And that's what we say, game management. Take the game to half-time. Jose's halfway down the tunnel. Take the game to half-time, 0-0. Yeah. Jose maybe tweaks one or two things or gives them some confidence or words of instruction. All of a sudden, you're 1-0 down from nowhere. I don't agree with Jose saying the game was tight and it probably no one deserved the win. I thought Brendan Rodgers' men could have won by 3 or 4. I thought they were that good.
We noticed that Craig Pawson's in the inside left channel, so he's in the right place. I mean, there's a VAR decision which is going to infuriate all of us in a second. But thank goodness for VAR there. But why is he not given that as a penalty with his own eyes? He's 10 yards away from it.
I think only he knows that. When I look at it again, you can obviously contact in the back, and he may have felt as though he's gone to ground theatrically and it wasn't a penalty, and he's not blown his whistle and given it. But
he sort of dipped into it, Aurier.
Yeah, it's the fact that Aurier sort of
charges him.
Yeah, he barges him, but he tries to protect his own head. Yeah. Like, he knows the contact's coming. It's a bizarre challenge.
I don't know why he's done
only Craig Pawson knows that, but thankfully, with VAR, because it's clear, he has the opportunity now to go to the screen, and the penalty was quite rightly awarded, which was the correct outcome.
So that's great, but what about this? James Maddison. What bit of him? He said he apologised for his armpit hair for being offside. So he's obviously irritated and a bit sarcastic, and frankly, I don't blame him.
I mean, it was a fantastic goal, wasn't it? And it's there for everybody to celebrate, and which he did. But obviously, with offside now and VAR, you're
Is Aurier not playing him onside?
Well, they've got the technology in the VAR, and you're either onside or you're off. And because we've got the law change with handball, and we've now got your friend Tintin with the green bit, because you can score with the top part of your arm, that's how it's judged. There's the lines on the pitch. They have the technology. It's the Hawkeye technology which they use for the goal decision system, and they've adjudged it to be offside. I can't question the technology. I can only go with it. And if you're off...
No, I don't think we can question the technology. And listen, I'm not bright enough to have an answer to this, but I saw that, and it's given offside, and I think that cannot be good for our game, that is given as offside.
No, I
listen,
agree.
Tottenham have lost, so I think, Tottenham fans can be fair about this as well, because it's not like, it changed the game, because Leicester won it anyway.
It's happened to Tottenham.
This happened to Tottenham. Fair enough, it happened to Tottenham in the game last season, the King Power, something quite similar. I look at that and I go, that cannot be good for football, for people who want to watch football, who get into football around the world, our enjoyment of it. A goal like that is ruled out.
Yeah, I don't know how, because I know that Maddison, I know Vardy makes that kind of run all the time. We know that, So Maddison's obviously learning from the older pro, and he's made a great run, and he's gone back in to bend his run, to go in, and everything's perfect about it.
First touch is magnificent.
Yeah, and everything about it is what you would have worked on in training. Yeah. And then it's literally, you're talking a centimetre or half a centimetre, and you think that is now spoiling the game. James Maddison's worked so hard for that, and it's a centimetre. And I know a centimetre's offside. I get it. But it's
no, that's why I said I'm not bright enough to come up with a solution.
Too much away.
I mean, just on that, Don, I mean, the players were told at the start of the season, you're either on or you're off. And as you say, a centimetre in that situation with the technology. If you could change it, Don, What would you want to see?
No lines on the pitch.
What?
I've been saying that for no offside.
Horizontal lines, no vertical lines.
I'd stand by
So how do you judge it upstairs then?
Well, you look at it and,
Yeah.
you go, James Maddison is half a yard offside, he's offside. You look at it with your own eyes, you freeze it exactly when the ball's being played, and then you see, right, what do you see there? I see that too tight to call, play on. Because
Level,
it was like the Sadio Mane one last month or a couple of months
What, the
back.
Merseyside derby?
Yeah, it was too tight. Even when you put the arrow, so the lines on Serge Aurier there and James Maddison, I still think James Maddison looks onside to me. So it messes with your eyes. You're thinking, well, how can that be true? Because we're talking about an armpit. We're talking about, you know, maybe's a millimetre.
We're talking about that, really, aren't we? That's all.
We could be talking a millimetre down from where the shirt ends. And you look at it and you go, if that's just too tight, look at it exactly when the ball's being played, no lines, and you go, what do you see there? I see that is extremely tight, it looks level, play on.
Because we've gone factual, haven't we? Whereas in the past, you know, as an assistant referee, the benefit of the doubt, you kept your flag down, didn't you? And you went with it. In this situation, because we've got the technology, it's judged offside, I think, and as well, it's compelled with the fact that he scored a fantastic goal.
Absolutely. So Leicester in great shape. Now, what about Tottenham? That's quite a week. They've gone from leaders to 5th in a week. They drew with Palace. We'll see Liverpool and Palace in a second, puts it in sharp contrast. Lost at Anfield, lost at home to Leicester. 80% of their goals have come from Son and Kane.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so that immediately, as you're watching that, you're thinking, well, if they don't score, who is going to score?
Well, do you want to be giving Liverpool a 6-point head start? No, and trying to reel them in. Of course, that margin, you know, could change over the coming weeks. But when you look at Liverpool's fixtures, West Brom, Newcastle, you think there's some serious points on the board for them. And the chasing pack have got some difficult fixtures. So they're going to go on a run now, Tottenham, and Jose's men are going to have to go a few wins on the spin to convince everyone that they can get back in it. Everton were gone, I don't know, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of a sudden, 3 wins on the spin. They were sitting second at one point in the league. So things can change. It can be a sharp turnaround. Tottenham were challenging. Within 7 days, they're 5th.
But just to finish it, do they need to somehow not be so reliant on Son and Kane? Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, it is to a certain degree when it comes to goals. Definitely, they have enough. Spurs. I think they have enough in regards to quality. It's just I just think every team has their day. I really do. Spurs have had some great days and some stinkers. The way that Spurs play, the Spurs fans have going to have to get used to it, I'm afraid, because it's not going away. It won't change.
Mark, I sat down with Peter Reid years ago when I was playing, and we're just having a coffee, just chatting, just football chat. And I asked him about when you're picking your 11 and you're picking your squad, what do you look for in your 11? And he said to me, you get as many players on the pitch that you think can score your goals. Now, that sounds really, really obvious, but it's true. So when you look at the players who are not playing for Tottenham and you go, well, who's not going to score? Sorry, who's going to score if Kane and Son doesn't score? Højbjerg's not going to score. Sissoko's not going to score. Lo Celso's not going to score. Bergwijn's not going to score. And you've got Lucas Moura and Gareth Bale sitting on the bench. So why not try and sacrifice Lo Celso or Bergwijn for a Bale or a Moura and be more attacking?
Well, we may find over Christmas where lots of fixtures, that's exactly what happens, of course, a bit of rotation.
Frustrated, but I think it's a strange game to describe. It's a game that you lose with a penalty and an own goal. It's a game where your goalkeeper doesn't make one single save. But at the same time, it's a game where we didn't play very, very well. So it's a strange game to describe. We didn't start well at all. But then in our best period in the first half is when we concede the goal, and then in the second half, own goal, and in spite of that, the team tried and created a couple of important chances for Schmeichel, a couple of good saves, but I don't think it was a big game. I don't think it was a game that both teams played very, very well.
When you're playing a good team like Leicester, it's likely to be fine lines that decide the match. In that context, the nature of the first goal, the penalty right on half-time?
In that context, we had the best chances in the first half, before the penalty. We had the best chances. We had there 2 or 3 good chances, and they score in a penalty that is not even a dangerous situation. It's a situation that the opponent is running away from our goal. And you are right. Teams of similar level sometimes is the mistake that makes a difference.
The nature of the challenge from Aurier, it didn't look as if he needed to make that challenge there, perhaps.
No, he doesn't need. He doesn't need. Of course, he doesn't need. But that's it. I'm not going to crucify my player.
You can play better than that, though, can't you? Your team.
Hmm?
Your team can play better than that, though, definitely.
Yeah, of course.
When you look back at the last week, Jose, it's obviously you've had a good season overall. When you look at the big picture, you're in a good position. It's not been a great week. How would you assess it?
I assess that we deserve to win the game at Liverpool, and that would make the week an amazing week, because we would be doing something that nobody does for quite a long time, for a good, important number of matches, and the team was phenomenal against Liverpool. If you look to the results, no. But if you look to the table and to the number of points, a part of Liverpool and now Leicester on the second position, everybody's there.
An excellent 3 points for you. How satisfying was it in terms of the performance of your team as well as the result today?
Yeah, that's always something that we focus on. You know, winning is everything in this game, but we always like to win in a good way. I thought overall we thoroughly deserved it. We started the game at a good tempo. You know, took the ball, had the courage to play. But I thought tactically the players were very good. We learned from the last time we were here. You know, we were 3-0 down and probably about half hour, and they killed us on the counter attack. But today we were able to manage the ball, but also manage any threat that they may have, and we had very few opportunities where they broke out against us. So yeah, dominated the first half. I felt with the ball. Second half, you expect a little bit more pressure from them, but we were still able to control their dangerous players whilst still being able to play and look a real threat going the other way. And we were unfortunate, very, very unfortunate with James Maddison's. You know, that would have been a great goal for us, but we kept going, didn't get disappointed, and produced a really mature performance.
Yeah, in that first half that you spoke about, you took the game to Tottenham as much as you were able to, but it was a half of very few goal-scoring opportunities, wasn't it? Perhaps no surprise in that, but it took a penalty to just open the game up a bit. Yeah,
like you say, naturally, top games against good teams, there's not going to be many chances. And we knew that, and I think you look at what was going to be important was the first goal. Today, Tottenham have shown that when they get the goal, especially early on, they're a very, very difficult team to break down. But I thought we probed and passed really well in that first half, and then when we were up there and we sort of gave the ball away, our counter pressing was really good, and that allows us to stay in there. And like you say, we end up getting a penalty, which was a clear penalty. So, but no, second half we good concentration in the game. We showed a real toughness against a really, really top team. But I thought we were very good in how we managed that. And like I say, unfortunate with a cleaner pass or a final pass, better we might have scored more goals.
The away form's outstanding this season, as you'll be well aware. 6 wins from the 7 matches you've played away from home. What's been the key to that? Does it just suit the style of the team overall?
No, I think you see today that we can play with the ball and we can also play on counter-attack. So the balance in the team is really good. We just need to find a way to, if we're not playing so well, to draw a game instead of losing. We had a poor result against Everton. But the one thing I will say about our team and how we've tried to always look at it is that we never lose our enthusiasm. You know, we've lost games this season that we shouldn't have lost. And that's part of a developing group. You know, that's part of young players improving and developing. But our enthusiasm comes into the next game. And like you say, when you have that and that spirit as well as the quality, then that will help you improve. And we have a long, long way to go and a lot more improvements to make.
Have you got any concerns about Jamie Vardy tonight? He looked as if he might be injured when he left the field.
Yeah, he's had a sort of niggle in in around his groin. So yeah, we just wanted to protect him. It looked a bit sore for him. So yeah, we'll see how he is. Thankfully, we've got to prepare for our next game, which is...
A week must feel like an eternity this season.
Well, it does, yeah, especially with the European football and everything else. So we moved to a new training ground this week, which will be absolutely amazing. So that's going to give us a great boost and also help us to recover, because it'll be like a world-class facility.